Hello and welcome to Open Pakistan webinar series. The Open Pakistan webinar series is an initiative of Open Program for Pakistan. These programs are offered by Regional English Language Office, RELO at the US Embassy Islamabad. These programs provide professional development opportunities to English language teachers and learners all across Pakistan. These programs include open global online courses, massive open online courses, webinar series, and then engaging our alumni into different productive activities. Today we are broadcasting our webinar 5.6. The topic for the webinar is strategies and techniques of collaborative learning for teachers. The presenter for the webinar is Mudassar Nawaz. Mudassar Nawaz is an Open Pakistan alumnus of the Open Global Online Courses and Mentorship Program. He did Masters in English Language and Literature from University of Sargodha and MS in English Linguistics from Air University. He is currently working as a visiting English lecturer at Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. Mudassar has presented his research paper in the field of English language teaching and linguistics in various national and international conferences. In today's webinar, participants will be able to comprehend diligently what is actually collaborative learning. And you can also learn encompass comprehensively why we need collaborative learning, apprehend extensively what are most effective strategies and techniques of collaborative learning, and you can grasp incredible benefits of collaborative learning. Last but not the least, you can understand thoroughly how to use collaborative learning effectively. So without any delay, I would like to invite Mudassar Nawaz for presenting the webinar.
Strategies and techniques of collaborative learning for teachers. What is collaborative learning? Collaborative learning is an umbrella term which means students learn in groups through collaboration, cooperation, interaction, and discussion. And they try to find the understanding, solutions, meanings, or they are to create some product in collaborative learning. Why use collaborative learning? Research shows that we need collaborative learning in order to provide educational experiences that are active, social, contextual, engaging, and student-owned. We need collaborative learning in order to develop higher level thinking, oral communication, self-management, and leadership skills in our students. We need collaborative learning in order to promote student-faculty interaction, student retention, self-esteem, and responsibility in our students. We need collaborative learning in order to enhance understanding of diverse perspective, to create real-life social and employment situation in order to enhance the learning abilities of our students. Why collaborative learning is much needed? The cone of learning. After 2 weeks, we tend to remember 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we say, and 90% of what we say and do. And this is what we call collaborative learning. So if we want our students to learn 90% of what we teach to them, we need to go for collaborative learning. And the solution is collaborative learning. And this cone of learning has been given by Edgar Dale in 1969, who is American educationist. There is a Chinese proverb that tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand. And this is what we call collaborative learning. If we want to involve our students in order to understand the things effectively, we need collaborative learning. According to Fortune 500 companies, the top skills sought by employers till 1970, number 3 reading, number 2 computation, number 1 writing. But after 2000, the top skills are number 3 interpersonal skills, number 2 problem solving, and number 1 teamwork. And for these 3 skills, interpersonal skills, problem solving skills, and teamwork, we need collaborative learning. Here are 22 strategies and techniques for collaborative learning. Number 1, jigsaw technique. We can use jigsaw technique in order to provide better learning opportunities to our students. What we need to do in a jigsaw technique, we are to divide our students into various groups according to the strength of our class and according to the resources we have. In jigsaw technique, students are to learn together by discussing the things with each other. Teachers can guide students how they can discuss the things with each other and how they can enhance their learning capabilities and how they can learn effectively. And students can be motivated by teachers to work together to synthesize the information and create a presentation about what they have learned, and they can share these ideas to other students as well. And by this, they can enhance their learning skills. Jigsaw techniques works best with small groups. For example, we can make 5 to 6 students group, and we can give them complex topics. So when we divide the lesson and the reading material to our students, so it can be easy for them to manage the topics, to manage the discussion, to manage the readings, and they can learn effectively. And teachers can guide the students that every student is responsible for reading, for searching the material, and understanding the things effectively. And in jigsaw techniques, every student is important and all the students have equal importance in learning process. Jigsaw techniques works best with small groups, 5 or 6 students and complex topics. We can divide the lesson and required material into 5 or 6 separate sections. So by this, every student has the opportunity to share his or her ideas in front of the whole group, and every student has the opportunity to have confidence level, to have the chance to understand the things effectively. When they work in groups, they enhance their learning capabilities. And one thing is important in jigsaw technique, that all the members have equal importance and everybody has to learn the concept and share the ideas with other students. And by doing this, everybody has the exposure of learning the things effectively. Number 2, think, write, pair, and share. So in these strategies, students think through questions. And at first step, they are to think through questions in order to have better understanding of the ideas, content, and the material they have. And what they need to do is they need to develop their own understanding, and they are to write those ideas on the page in order to have clear understanding of that particular topic. And later they can share their ideas which they have written on the page to the other students in the class or in the groups. And this is very effective for everybody to enhance their learning capabilities. Pair. And number 2, teachers are to make groups in pairs. And by this, students can discuss the ideas and thoughts with each another easily. When students are grouped in pairs, everybody has the opportunity, everybody has the confidence to share his or her ideas with his or her pair partner. So I think this is a very effective way through which we can give strength and confidence to our students, and we can give better exposure to them how they can enhance their learning capabilities. And number three, students peers share their ideas with the larger group. When students have learned the things in pair and they have better understanding about the content and the topic which has been given to them, they can share their understanding in front of the whole class. And by having this exposure, they can enhance their confidence level, their productive, creative, and innovative skills by explaining the things in front of the whole class. Unlike traditional classroom, where only some students have the opportunity to participate in the class, in this discussion section, everybody has the chance to reflect his or her knowledge in front of the whole class. And by this, everybody has the opportunity to learn the things effectively. Number three, brainstorming. In traditional classrooms, only most confident students get the opportunity to participate in the class. But average students are the students who don't have enough confidence, are not able to participate in the class, and that is a disadvantage for those students. But when it comes to brainstorming, in these techniques, everybody in the class has to do brainstorming and has some ideas about the topic or the question that is given to them, and they can have their ideas, their understanding, and they can write the things, and they can make their own perception, understanding, and ideas about that particular topic or the concept, and they can write the things, and later they can share all the ideas within their groups and in front of the class. And this is going to strengthen our students if we provide such kind of opportunities to our students. Instructor can introduce a discussion topic in front of the class, and students can discuss the things in order to have a clear understanding. And we can do these strategies both in online classes and offline classes. In online classes, we can use Google surveys for discussions, and we can use these strategies as well as in face-to-face classes. So when teacher guides the students about how to manage the things, how to discuss the things, how to handle all the problems which come to their way, it becomes easy for the students to do the things effectively. Daily discussion questions. Students can be given daily questions for discussion. And if we provide daily question to our students, so this can enhance their learning capabilities. The more we provide a daily discussion question to our students, the more they have exposure to enhance their learning capabilities, to find their talent, to find their strength, how they are going to have productive, creative, and innovative skills. So by providing daily or weekly discussion questions, teachers can spark conversation and encourage students to think about the course materials in new ways. The key to an active and interesting online discussion is thoughtful, open-ended discussion questions. If teacher use open-ended discussion questions, this can promote divergent thinking in our students. So teachers can ask students to analyze sources and provide opinions, and this can be very helpful for students in order to enhance their learning strength. Number 5, breakout group discussion. So again, we can use these strategies in this strategy both in online classes and offline classes. In online classes, we can break out groups, discussions into short sections, and by doing this, we can manage even large groups or large classes effectively, and we can segment our class into smaller breakout groups in order to provide effective and better learning environment to our students. And we can make smaller discussion groups separately, so students can have the confidence in order to utilize their strategies and skills in order to so we can facilitate our students uh, by giving them a moderator or monitor who can guide the students where there they find problems. We can guide our students according to the questions, according to the discussion material, according to their need. Whatever we find this is much needed for our students, we can guide them. So they, in a small group discussion, students can manage their problem easily, and we can manage a large class effectively, and students can have better interaction to each other, and they can help each other effectively, and all this can support our students to learn the things easily. Number 6, peer review. Having students review each other's work is a great way to make sure each student benefits from individual feedback and attention. So when we provide peer review opportunity to our students, what happens? At the same time, they have two opportunities. One, they can learn the things effectively, what their partners have done the things effectively, positively. They can learn from the better strategies and skills of their partner. On the other hand, at the same time, they has the opportunity of being a teacher because they are going to assess the work of someone. So while assessing the work of someone, they analyze the mistakes done by other students. So by having this exposure, again, they can learn effectively. So this exposure can give them confidence level and more strength to find and discover their talent in order to have productive, creative, and innovative skills for better learning capabilities. Scaffolding. To help learners achieve independence, Vygotsky says that scaffolding as a tool can be used in order to enhance the learning capability of our students. We can provide supports, we can facilitate our students by making some connections between students, and by supporting through various things. We can use first language in order to support our students. We can use visuals, we can use modeling and gestures, we can use graph organizers. So we can connect the things to the background knowledge. So by supporting in a different way, we facilitate our students for better, in order to give better learning opportunities to our students. So students learn in their proximal development, and they become more confident and they feel comfortable when they work in social sports. So we can enhance the learning capabilities of our students by providing scaffolded instruction. So we can establish a shared goal. We can go for actively diagnose a students' needs, provide tailored assistance, maintain pursuits of goal. We can give feedback. We can give control for frustration and risk. So, for example, if we go for pre-engagement students and curriculum, so by these things we can give scaffolded instruction, and we can support our student in order to provide purposeful, meaningful interactions with others. Number 8, establish clear group goals. Effective collaborative learning involves the establishment of group goals. So when teachers establish clear group goals for their students, this can help the students in order to keep their direction on the right way, and they can learn the things in a better way. Number 9, keep groups mid-size. If the size of group is too large, this is not good for the learning of students. And if the size of group is too small, again, this is a negative for proper learning. So in order to provide better learning opportunities to our students, it is necessary to keep groups mid-sized. A moderate size group of 4 or 5 is ideal for learning. Number 10, build trust and promote open communication. It is responsibility of teacher to encourage the students to build trust and promote open communication. When students work in groups and they try to build up trust and they promote open communication, this can enhance their learning capabilities. Number 11, for larger tasks, create group roles. If we have larger tasks, then it's our responsibility to create group roles. And this can be helpful for students to understand the things in a better way, and they can perform in the groups according to the assignments, according to the task, according to the roles, and they can utilize their skills in a proper direction. Number 12, create a pre-test and post-test. When teachers use pre-test and post-test in order to assess how much their strategies and methods are effective for learning in the class. So this is a better way to assess what are the strategies and techniques which must be included in the methodologies they are to use, and what are the strategies they need to change, and they need to make some amendment in them, or what are the strategies they need to exclude from their methodologies. And we can use Bloom's taxonomy for this purpose as well. Consider the learning process itself as a part of assessment. As some experts have argued that social and psychological effects on self-esteem and personal development are just as important as learning itself. So we can say that the assessment itself is part of learning process. So we can encourage our students, and the process of assessment can motivate our students to have better strategies and how they can learn effectively. Number 14, allow groups to reduce anxiety. Teacher can guide students to reduce anxiety, and this can strengthen their abilities of learning. And working in groups itself is the cause that students can reduce their anxiety. When students reduce their anxiety, it becomes easy for them to learn effectively. Number 15, establish group interactions. Teacher can motivate students in order to have a natural interaction in the groups. When students have natural interaction in the groups, they can learn effectively. Use real world problems. By using real world problems, teachers can enhance the involvement of students in the learning process. Teachers can engage and can attract the attention of students by using real world problems, and this can strengthen their learning capabilities, and this can make a learning process more interesting. Number 17, focus on enhancing problem solving and critical thinking skills. Teachers can provide practical opportunities to their students in order to enhance their problem solving skills and critical thinking skills. And these are the skills which are much relevant and much needed for the students and teachers in order to have better learning exposure and better learning outcomes. Number 18, keep in mind the diversity of groups. As normally we have diversity of groups in our classrooms, so it is the job of a teacher to keep under consideration the diversity of groups, that there are the students who have different talents, backgrounds, different learning styles, different ideas, different experiences, and it is necessary to consider this diversity of groups in order to handle and manage the problems faced by our students. Number 19, include different types of learning scenarios. Teachers can include different types of learning scenarios in order to provide better learning exposure, such as they can use laboratory work, study teams, debates, writing projects, problem solving, and collaborative writing for better learning outcomes. Technology makes collaborative learning easier. We can use technology in our collaborative learning process. For example, we can incorporate free savvy tools for online collaboration, such as Stixi and online shared whiteboard space, Google Groups, or MyGogo for online meetings. So when we use collaborative learning and we incorporate collaborative learning with technology, so this can enhance the learning capabilities of our students and the teaching capacity of teachers as well. 21, avoid bad group works. A New York Times article cites some criticism of collaboration for not allowing enough time for individual creative thinking. Means when students work in groups, so there is possibility that individuality of some students can be damaged. But we can eliminate this fault by giving proper time to every student before the group begins. So by this strategy, we can avoid this problem. 22, be wary of group things. Some research suggests that groups favor the more confident members. So what we can do, we can change the group so can different students, when they are being transferred to different groups, they can have better chemistry with the other students, and this can overcome the problem that some groups favor some students. So we can overcome this problem by changing our groups. Sorry. 44 reasons why we need collaborative learning. We need collaborative learning in order to develop high level thinking skills. We need collaborative learning to promote student faculty interaction and familiarity. We can use collaborative learning for student retention, to build self-esteem, to enhance satisfaction with learning experience. We can use collaborative learning in order to promote positive attitude towards subject matter. We can use collaborative learning in order to develop communication skills in our students. We can use collaborative learning in order to develop social interaction skills, positive race relationships. We can use collaborative learning in order to build up environment of active, involved, exploratory learning process. We can use collaborative learning for a team approach to problem solving while maintaining individual accountability. We can use collaborative learning in order to encourage diversity, understanding in our students. We can encourage our students for their responsibility of learning, and we can involve them in developing curriculum and class procedures. We can use collaborative learning to explore alternate problem solutions in a safe environment. We can use it in order to promote critical thinking skills, to help students for clarifying the ideas through discussions and debates. We can use collaborative learning to enhance self-management skills, and we can provide constructivist approach to our students for by using collaborative learning. We can establish an atmosphere of cooperation and helping school-wide. We can use collaborative learning for the development of responsibility in our students. We can use collaborative learning in order to provide positive heterogeneous relationships among our students. We can use collaborative learning in order to encourage our students for alternative student assessment techniques. We can use collaborative learning in order to develop interpersonal relationships, modeling problem solving techniques by students' peers. We can teach our students how to criticize ideas, not people. We can set high expectation for students and teachers. We can promote higher achievement and class attendance. Students can stay on task, and they can have less distractions. Students can have less distractions. We can use collaborative learning in order to provide a greater ability of students to view the situation from others' perspective as well. We can use it to create a stronger social support, a positive attitude towards teachers and principal and other personnel, and all they have a better relationship among each other. We can use it in order to address learning styles differences among students. We can promote innovation in teaching and classroom techniques. We can use it in order to reduce anxiety in classroom and anxiety in exams as well. We can use collaborative learning in order to provide a real live social and employment situation. We can practice modeling societal and work-related role. We can use it in order to synergize with writing across curriculum. We can use it to personalize large lecture classes. We can use in order to build up communication skills in our students. We can help them in order to build the practice, and they can enhance their activities in the class and outside the class. We can use it in order to promote social and academic relationships well beyond the classroom and individual course. So we can use it in order to provide better practice building leadership skills among our students. We can use it in order to build leadership skills in female students as well. And we can use collaborative learning in order to create a community environment within the classroom.
Thank you so much, Mudassar, for presenting such a wonderful webinar presentation. If you have comments, question, and or suggestion, please write to us on open@evolution.com.pk. Till then, happy teaching and learning.